Hello beautiful, today we're going to chat about how to build healthy habits in 2025 and really how to set yourself up for success, get motivated, build consistency so that you can get ahead in the new year. These 6 habits are ones that I've personally seen a lot of benefits from, along with ones that I've started implementing more recently that have already had a really big impact on my life. The first habit is one that I struggled with for such a long time, but as soon as I started prioritizing it and making sure that I actually did it, it increased my capacity and the way I show up in just day-to-day life. And that is getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. Now, I do have the occasional day or two where I don't get in that range. I'm like at 6 hours instead of 7 hours. And on those days, I really do see the difference in my energy levels and my mood. I know you've probably heard so many people telling you need more sleep, and I also know how hard it is to do that, especially because we're both busy people and sometimes we stay up late working and there's really no way around it. But what's often overlooked is the actual quality of sleep, because you might have got 9 hours of sleep, but if that was really bad quality and you were sort of half asleep, sort of half drifting in and out, then you're not gonna get as many benefits from that sleep as you could have from like 7 hours of really good sleep. If you didn't already know, your sleep is actually split into a few different stages and you have different types of sleep within your sleep cycle. Typically when you sleep, you go through around 4 or 5 of these cycles and they usually last around 90 to 120 minutes. It will vary from person to person, but as the night progresses, you usually move out of deep sleep into more REM sleep. This is called rapid eye movement sleep and it's important for dreaming and processing your emotions. Non-REM sleep is more restorative and it's important for learning and memory processes. And then you've got your deep sleep, which is kind of more responsible for your body's recovery processes. So in order to get the best night's sleep, we really want to be prioritizing quality over quantity. And something that really shocked me actually is that even the tiniest little things that you don't realize will affect your sleep could have a massive impact. Usually when you think about things that will help you get quality sleep, your mind automatically goes to like not looking at your screen for an hour before bed, not using bright light, or not eating or drinking alcohol like 5 minutes before you go to bed. But you might be surprised to hear even things that you do hours before you go to bed can impact your sleep. It can even come down to things like your food choices, when you have caffeine, if you have alcohol at all. And this will also vary from person to person, but for me, like I can't even drink caffeine at all because it drastically reduces my sleep quality and actually the amount of sleep that I'm able to get. And it's only really since I started tracking my sleep and looking at the data using my Fitbit that I really realized how much of an impact it had. I usually wear it all the time, but I had to take it off for filming this because it counts my steps when I'm waving my hands around. It'll probably register me like running a marathon by the time I'm finished filming this, so that's why I'm not wearing it right now. The way I found out about the different stages of sleep and how we can each individually improve our sleep hygiene was through a podcast from Dr. Andrew Huberman, and I definitely recommend checking it out because he's worked with loads of scientists in the field and studied sleep for years. And when we learn from other people who have already done all the research and know so much more than we do, it's basically our key to unlocking the ways that we can start optimizing our lives without having to go through all the years of research to get there. The next healthy habit really improved my energy for the day, and that was establishing a healthy morning routine. More often than not, your mornings can set the tone for the rest of your day, and my morning routine has changed a lot over the years, but recently I've really been trying to dial it in to help me wake up feeling energized and more productive throughout the day. Let me know if you want a whole video going into detail of my morning routine, but for the purpose of this video, there's 3 non-negotiables that I always do every single morning. The first one is as soon as I wake up, I go straight to the window, open the blinds, and get morning sunlight. Getting sunlight first thing in the morning is so underrated, but it plays an important role in sort of resetting your circadian rhythm so that you actually feel tired when you need to go to bed. And then that plays back into you being able to get better sleep. Getting light first thing in the morning signals to your brain that it's time to wake up, and it actually contributes to your hormones as well. So there's this hormone called adenosine, and essentially it starts off low in the morning and builds throughout the day. And as your level of adenosine increases, that's what makes you feel more tired. So when it reaches a certain level, that is usually the time that you would go to bed. There's obviously a lot of other hormones involved, but essentially that is one of the reasons why you feel tired later at night. and you should be more awake in the morning. After I've got my morning sunlight, my next non-negotiable is drinking a glass of water. And when I say a glass of water, I don't mean like a tiny cup, I mean like a pint of water, because when you've been in bed overnight, you're not drinking anything and your body's slowly becoming dehydrated. So it's really important that you rehydrate yourself in the morning. You can also put electrolytes or salt and lemon juice in your water because that helps your body be able to use it and hydrate you better. Since I started having a glass of water in the morning, I felt so much more energized than I used to. It's kind of crazy, but it makes a massive difference. It's also really good for your metabolism and helps with your digestion as well. The next non-negotiable I do every single morning after breakfast is get some movement in. Studies have shown that even as little as 10 minutes of walking can reduce levels of anxiety and stress really significantly. If you've seen some of my other videos, I know it was definitely in my other video on habits, you'll know that I always go for my podcast walk. I call it my podcast walk because I listen to a podcast every morning on my walk. And I really love doing this because 1, I get the fresh air and the sunlight first thing in the morning. 2, I get to learn something new without it taking up any extra time that I could be doing something else because I'm out walking. And 3, I just feel so refreshed afterwards, and my mind's just so much clearer after I've gone for a walk because I've got the blood flowing, I've got the energy going, I'm just ready to face the day. And I always notice the difference in my productivity if I've not gone for a walk in the morning compared to when I do. So that's why I made it a non-negotiable. I'm not one of these people who has a 50-step morning routine that takes them 3 hours to do. I like to keep it simple but effective. And when you find a routine that suits you and you can do every single day without it feeling like work and it sets you up well for the rest of the day, you are definitely onto a winner. On the topic of routines, the next healthy habit is build a consistent fitness routine. I can pretty much guarantee that you've never regretted working out, but I'm sure you've regretted skipping the gym or scrolling for hours instead of going for a walk like you said you would. A lot of people find starting to get on top of their fitness really intimidating, but honestly, building a routine doesn't have to be overwhelming. Start small, build the habit, and work up from there. Say you wanted to start working out, but you were too scared to go to the gym. Start working out from home. Plan out the workouts and the exercises you're going to do just like you would if you were going to an actual gym. You're going to commit to doing those workouts at home, and then once you've built up the confidence doing the exercises, and once you feel ready, you can go to a gym and continue to make progress there. I was honestly the exact same when I started my fitness journey, because when you think about starting to work out, your mind usually goes to going to the gym and it being full of these scary gym bros. 1, the gym bros aren't as scary as they look. Trust me, I've got a few and I can tell you for a fact. But we don't know that that fear isn't really valid because we've never been to a gym. Usually the big thing that holds us back is our fear that everyone's going to judge us because we don't know what we're doing. But the thing is, everyone who is in that gym has been a beginner at some point. So when you realize that they've been exactly where you are, it sort of takes some of the pressure off. Usually these people who are at the gym will respect you for being there because they know how hard it is to get started. But even if you're not ready to start the gym just yet, that is completely okay. The important thing is that you start with something, because something is so much better than nothing. Having that small something in place is gonna act as you establishing that habit. And once you've got the habit down, then you can work on building it. But if you feel like you're just too busy to work out, starting small is gonna be a game changer for you. Block it out in your calendar just like you would any other meeting or appointment. I want you to consciously dedicate that time to you and your health, because if you don't have your health, then you're not going to be able to perform your best in your job or any other area of your life. If your boss scheduled a meeting with you, you wouldn't just not show up because you might get fired from your job. So what makes you think that you can skip out on the gym when you scheduled it as a meeting with yourself? You're basically disrespecting yourself and telling yourself that you're not worth showing up for. But when you start prioritizing your health, you'll start to see that all of the other stresses in life just become that tiny bit more manageable. But I know firsthand how hard establishing that initial routine can be, which is why I'm super excited about my fitness and nutrition app that I'm launching. We're launching in December, and basically I'll be creating fitness and nutrition plans that are tailored specifically to you and your goals. I really wanted to do this because I stand by the fact that what works for one person probably won't work for someone else. So having tailored guidance is something that would really have helped me when I started my fitness journey to begin with. It's so exciting because I can help you eliminate the months or even years of faffing around and help you get results that much faster. So if that sounds like something that would be helpful to you, then I'll pop the link to sign up for early access in the description. The next habit is eating a nutritious diet. I don't know about you, but when I eat rubbish, I feel like rubbish. I feel sluggish, not satisfied, my mood's worse, I usually end up with a headache, I'm not as strong at the gym, and it's just not great. But when I fuel my body properly with nutritious and balanced meals, it improves my energy, it helps my mood, my body, my skin, my gut, my strength, just everything is that much better. There are really two things that I changed in my diet that I saw made the biggest impact. The first one is eating a more high protein diet. I try to get as much of my protein from whole food sources as I can, so things like fish, meat and dairy, stuff like that. But I do also use a protein supplement just for the sake of convenience. And another thing that I changed was the amount of variety that I was getting in my diet. If you've watched some of my other videos, you'll know that I am a die-hard meal prep girly, and that is great, it saves so much time, but the thing that I was missing was the variety in my diet, because I was making so much of the same meal prep that I was basically eating the same thing every day. So now, instead of eating the same thing every day, I aim to include a lot more different fruits and vegetables and things like that. One of the reasons you want to include a lot of variety in your diet for your gut health is because you've got so many different bacteria and microorganisms in your gut that need different micronutrients and things from the food that you eat. And when you have a healthy gut, that translates to the rest of your body. It can improve your skin, your energy, and just really your overall health. So for gut health, it's been recommended that you get around 30 different plants per week. And I know 30 sounds like a massive number, and I was really shocked when I first heard that. But when you break it down, it's not as hard to get in as you might think. The 30 plants also includes things like grains. So you've got oats, you've got rice, you can include beans, nuts, seeds, as well as what you would usually think of your fruits and vegetables. So when you start to break it down like that and really look at the different foods that you could add to your diet, it's not as much and it's not as intimidating as you might have initially thought. Personally, the biggest difference that I've seen when I started including more variety in my diet is with my skin, because I've struggled with really bad acne for the longest time. And I went through a little period where it was really bad, and that was, funnily enough, when I was eating the same thing every day. So since I've started including more variety, my acne is slowly starting to go down. And that's amazing, and I'm so excited. So I'm definitely going to be including more variety for the foreseeable. The next habit came about around a month and a bit ago now, when I did this challenge on YouTube of 30 days of journaling. So every day I came on live with you guys on YouTube and we journaled together. And the habit isn't the journaling itself, although that is also a really good habit to build. But the one I want to focus on is practicing gratitude. So every day of the challenge, we would write down one thing that we were thankful for that day. But the thing was, it had to be different than what you wrote down yesterday. So it started off really easy. The first week or two was great. But then when it got to the end of the 30 days, we had to get a lot more creative with what we were being thankful for. And for me, it helped me focus on the things that I often take for granted and actually genuinely be thankful for them. It's so important that we get clear on our daily blessings, because there's so much that we take for granted, but we honestly have so much to be thankful for. Even when it's dark and gloomy and raining outside, we can still be thankful for the rain, because if there was no rain, there would be no plants. We would have no food, there'd probably be no animals and no humans, and we probably wouldn't exist. It's the same when you're facing difficult situations in life. A lot of the time we can feel ourselves being dragged down when we're in the midst of those situations, but as soon as we get out the other side, we're thankful that we're out. I want you to focus on being thankful when you're deep in it, when you're stuck in the trenches and everything just seems dark around you. I want you to find the light, because trust me, when you focus on the things you actually have to be thankful for, it shifts your entire perspective. You start seeing obstacles as opportunities, and it just opens up so many doors for you. This clarity can be so powerful, and it can really change the way you show up every day. The next habit is do a weekly or monthly life audit. In order to reach our goals, a lot of the time we've got to slow down to speed up. You can't just go at 100 miles per hour if you don't know what you're aiming for, because if you keep going that fast in the wrong direction, then you could end up somewhere that you really don't want to be. It's similar to the 1 in 60 rule, and to put it simply, for every 1 degree off course you are, after you travel 60 miles, you will be 1 mile away from where you wanted to be. Imagine you're on a flight from New York to Tokyo. The flight would take around 14 hours. I wrote down the exact numbers, so I'm just going to read them out. But if your plane was 1 degree off course from the beginning, after flying 6,075 miles, you'd end up 112 miles away from Tokyo. This would put your plane somewhere over the Sea of Japan or in the Pacific Ocean, and you'd probably be running out of fuel. I don't know about you, but if that happened to me, then I'd definitely be starting to panic just a little bit. So in order to stay on track and make consistent progress towards our goals, we need to regularly check in with ourselves and make sure that we are actually going in the right direction. The way I like to do this is defining my foundation. You need to know what your driving force is and what your reason behind wanting to reach your goal actually is, because after you reach a certain level, then you're going to start asking yourself, what's the point? We're always striving for things that we don't currently already have, and it's usually our motivation to get those things that's what keeps us going towards them. But when you reach your dream body or become a millionaire or get that car you've always wanted, what then? We set ourselves these massive goals thinking that when we achieve them, then we'll finally be happy because we'll be living our dream life. But when you reach that point, yeah, it might be cool for a day or two because you can tell everyone around you that you finally did it. But I promise you, that sense of achievement won't last and you'll be left wondering what next. Most of the time, even if you do reach your goal, you're gonna have to keep working to maintain what you've got. If you stop working as soon as you become a millionaire, then very shortly after that, you're not going to be a millionaire anymore because you're going to have to pay your bills, you're going to have to buy food, you're probably going to have to pay for fuel for your car. So you have to keep working to maintain your millionaire status. So that's why it's so important that you do regular life audits so that you're always aligning what you're doing to your values. Doing this makes the journey so much more enjoyable, and it means that you're able to play the long game. And playing the long game means that even when you reach your goal, you know that you've got so much more ahead of you because you've spent this time aligning yourself to your values, and growth and success sort of come automatically as a result of that. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. Achieving any of your goals is going to take hard work and a lot of dedication. But doing these regular life audits to get rid of the distractions that aren't serving you and realign yourself to the path that you know you should be taking, that's going to get you to your goals a whole lot faster than if you were to take the scenic route. Going back to the millionaire example, say you wanted to become a millionaire and you heard that every millionaire has around 7 streams of income. You would think that that means you, starting out who's not a millionaire, has to have 7 streams of income. But what you don't realize is that those millionaires started with 1. They built that up and then they diversified their income streams once they'd become a millionaire. But since you don't know that, you start off with however many income streams you decide to have, and that divides your attention and you're really just getting distracted by other things and spreading yourself too thin. I know that feeling all too well, which is why I decided to start doing life audits, and it's helped me to really align myself with where I want to go, stop focusing on 101 different things and start focusing on the few things that are actually going to serve me and get to where I want to be right now, and then later on, once I've established something, then I can branch out. But reminding yourself of your foundation and your driving force that's going to get you to where you want to be is also really important. For me, I believe that God's given me the experiences and the skills that I have. He's blessed me with so much life through his love and grace, and I want to show that love in everything that I do. I am nowhere near perfect by any means. I've made a lot of mistakes, but if I can improve just one person's life or even just one tiny part of one person's life, that brings me so much joy and it just acts as another step on my journey. But the real way we make massive progress towards our goals is when we pair our driving force with our habits, because our driving force is what keeps us going, and then our habits are sort of the systems that we use to actually get to our goals through actionable steps. So remember, one decision could change your entire life. Building one healthy habit could change your life for the better. So really hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know which one of these habits you're going to start working on more, and I appreciate you so much more than you know. I actually have a whole self-improvement series here on my channel, so if that sounds interesting to you, you can check it out in this video next. See you there!